Hello. Hey, good morning. How's it going today, guys? Let's see. Ooh, oh, it's transitioning. Yay. Okay, awesome. Grab my tea. Rocking a matcha this morning. Grab my phone. So I got a little timer. And yeah. Well, welcome. How are you doing this morning? How was your weekend? Happy Monday. If you're catching this right on the day, or if you're rewatching at some point, happy whatever day it might be. Doreen, good morning. So glad you're joining me this morning. I see you've been up for a little bit this morning as well. I have an announcement. Today is announcement day. So I have some news that I'm really excited about and want to share first with you, my live stream yogis, and then I will start doing some posts and getting the word out. But we'll build a little anticipation. I know that a few other people wanted to join in this morning, so I'm just going to wait to see if they pop on as well. So that's what's going on there. So Monday is Yin Yang Day. I guess I could announce it in my videos all week this week. Making sure I get everyone. Oh, here till 8:30, back in the office this week. Okay, back in the office. Janet, hello, Janet. News this morning. Stick around and hear some news. Okay, Doreen, I will also make this one a touch shorter. I need to work also today. And I need to be done sooner than I would be if I did my full length class. So I'll see what I can do, but feel free to duck out whenever you want. Thanks for the heads up on that. Okay, well, let's just chat. How about that? So my big news, big announcements, I'll make sure everyone hears it in due time, is I have been offered 5 new classes from the studio I teach at. They are looking to expand and they love me as a teacher. And so they've offered me Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 8:30. And which is really exciting and cool in a number of ways because it's like in the studio, which I think is wonderful and is a great opportunity for me, but I can also do them as online classes. So I can set it up so people can either come into the studio. So if you would rather get up just a touch earlier and come into the studio and check it out, that is an option. Or if you want to just log on, we'll just be changing our platform to Zoom, but she has the premium account with the full, as long as you want, meeting style, opposed to when I tried to do a Zoom call and it was 40 minutes. So we'll be able to handle the full class. So that is how things are going there. And so, yes, that's great. It is really great. So, unfortunately, those online ones will be paid. I'll see if I can work a little deal out for you guys that have been following along. I'll quarantine, try to sneak in a couple of passes and make it work. And so now I'm trying to figure out how I can still see you guys live on Facebook if you're not ready to hit into the studio or not ready to take that next step. That is a-okay. Let me find a way to support you. I'm thinking every Friday, probably from 8:45 to 9:30. I will try my darndest to be able to do a free class still on Facebook. So it's probably some kind of gentle hip style. That's what everyone seems to really love, is the happy hips classes. So, and it's the same schedule in the studio as it is here. Tuesdays and Thursdays, happy hips, Wednesdays, Fridays, flowy style things, and Mondays is yin yang. So that's what's going on. That is my big announcement. I might have more announcements in a couple of days as I have some more stuff brewing in the pot. But I have a couple more meetings and a few more details to figure out on that stuff. So that's what's going on. All right, why don't we do some yoga this morning? How about that? That sounds like a good plan. So let's get into that yoga position. If you want to start seated, go ahead, Find your nice seated position if you want to be daring and sit on your feet, work your feet a little bit this morning. I think that's how I'm going to start out. It kind of just popped up here to get a comment, and I don't know, we're going to work with it. You want to start laying down. We will eventually start laying down, come up to seated, maybe get to standing. We'll see. Maybe not. Got some other stuff planned. So start to settle in. Find that good yoga position where you can start to connect in with the breath, connect in with the body, check out how you're feeling. Maybe you notice the rate that you're breathing at. Maybe you notice your heartbeat. Are you really excited? Is it pumping a little faster? Are you looking for a little bit more stillness and quietness? Do you start to maybe deepen that breath, starting to breathe using that diaphragm, breathing into the abdomen? Good. Nice inhale and exhale. Feeling good. Sorry, my dog is barking in the back, but she's outside, so she can just hang out right there. Beautiful. If you like to set an intention for our time and our class today, go ahead and do so now. It brings you to your mat this morning. What are you hoping to get out of this class, this bit of movement? So good. Let's take a nice big inhale breath, breathing in nice and big. Exhale, sigh it out. Let it out nice and big. Let's take one more of those. Nice big inhale breath. Exhale, release. Feeling that settle into the body. So good. If you're in a seated position, let's roll on back and down. Starting to feel good. Finding those sweet spots. I like to start with my knees bent, feet planted, but if you'd rather extend your legs longer, that's a good option. I always have a little crack of the hip. That happens as I roll back and down for the first time. Feels good. Let's take a nice good morning stretch, reaching those arms up overhead. Reach so nice and tall. Ooh, I can feel all the core work I did yesterday. Nice big reach. Exhale, just let the arms hang heavy. They just fall and sink in towards the floor. Take another good morning stretch. Nice big inhale as you reach the hands up. Maybe you interlace the hands together, coming to steeple. Maybe start to now point through the toes, looking for a little more. Nice big reach and exhale. Let the arms hang heavy, and let's start to draw the knees in towards the chest. Coming in, taking that little rock from side to side, giving that low back a nice little massage. Oh, yeah. So good. So nice. Maybe feel that a little more over the shoulders. Beautiful. Let's come to just a little bit of stillness here and bring the knees a little bit more over the hips. So you can still hang on to either the backs of the knees to keep this really gentle. If you want a little more, you can start to release the hands down, maybe alongside the body, or maybe even tucking underneath the sits bones to have that low back still be pressing in nice and strong. Take an inhale breath, lengthen, extend that head nice and tall. Exhale, roll those shoulders back and down and engage the core. So draw that belly button in towards the chest. Feel how you have that nice little engagement as you exhale. Beautiful. Let's bring those feet up towards that 90 degrees. If you need to keep it gentle, just bring them back down. But feel how as you lift the legs, you might be starting to activate a little more into those hip flexors. So nice. Let's start to just extend the knees a little bit. Just kind of like you're going up the stairs, one at a time. Nothing too crazy, not that full bicycle motion. Just a little hip flexor work today. Something a little different than walking on the ceiling. Still kind of that same motion, a little bit slower though, a little more intentional. Just gently pressing foot out one at a time. Nice and good. I noticed I haven't been doing tons of core work with you guys, so even though this is yin yang, we will start with a little bit of movement first, warm up a bit through the body, and then we'll get nice and stretchy, or we'll incorporate some stretchiness all the way through. But you just kind of like this little motion, back and forth, to warm up those hip flexors and a little bit into those lower abdominals, especially as you keep drawing all those muscles in. Beautiful. Let's find some stillness, just coming back to both knees hovering over the hips. I'm going to just untuck my hands here because I feel like I don't want my hands coming up here. And I'm going to cross left leg over right. So if you want, you can bring that right foot down onto the ground, cross that left leg over, and then start to draw the legs back up. So you've got a little cross happening. Lots of times we hang out in figure four, and if you have external rotation, that knee is probably flopping out, foot is hanging out off to the side. Let's see if we can bring both feet trying to press in a downward motion. So even if you don't really align that top foot all the way down, some people find it easy. I find it super challenging. My eagle pose is needing a little bit of work, but that's just the shape that I create for it. So keep those legs nicely floating. Try to get that nice squeeze in at the legs. That's how you start to get that foot going down. And let's come into that same little motion of drawing the legs in, and maybe you tap that bottom heel down. You can take a little break should you choose, or let that leg float, getting a little more in towards that core. So we'll just take a few of these, lifting and lowering the leg, squeezing those legs together and still feel that nice engagement. Let's take 3 more. Lifting, maybe you have that little tap, maybe take a little break. And last one, squeeze it up. Drop that right foot down, uncross the legs, and take a little windshield wiper from side to side, starting to release. Is that Donna joining in? Good morning. I don't know if you caught it from the beginning, but there's an announcement at the beginning of this video, which you could probably, I think, rewatch once the video is over. Haven't quite figured all that stuff out. All right, let's come to some stillness and get ready to do the other side. So now right leg comes on top of left leg. Really maybe focus in on that squeeze even right here. Engage that core. A little IT band stretch happening here as you have that little resistance from side to side. Or maybe I just noticed that because my right side is so tight today. Let's take an inhale and lengthen. Exhale, engage through that core, press that low back into the ground. Start to float that left leg up off the ground. Excellent, so good. Let's take some of those little motions, squeezing in and maybe touching that foot down towards the ground. So still keeping this nice and gentle. Feel free to elongate that little touchdown at any point if you need a little break. We're just going to do 10 of them, so we've got a few more to squeeze in here. Keep squeezing those legs. Speaking of squeezing, feeling into that core, working with those abdominals. Excellent. Let's take 2 more. Bring the knees in. Have a little tap down. Knees in and down. Let's uncross those legs. Take a little windshield wiper. A little bit of hips this morning. A little bit of core. So nice, so good. Beautiful. And let's find our stillness. Excellent. You can just have the legs hang out, pressing the feet down, trying to keep those knees in line with the hips, in line with the feet. So maybe you're working on that movement. Let's bring some attention to our shoulders and our arms now. So let's bring our hands reaching up towards the ceiling. We'll really start to extend along through those fingers. Feel how those edges of the shoulders start to reach off, and you might just have those shoulder blades reaching in. Feel how skinny or close together those hands can come, and then exhale. Let's roll those shoulders down, pressing the entirety of the shoulder open. Feel how wide those hands come. Excellent. Let's start to lift those shoulders off, just reaching up. Huge little reach up as far as you possibly can. Take that exhale, plant those shoulders all the way in. So good. Let's reach for opposite shoulders now. One hand will naturally come on top. One little elbow will tuck in underneath. Maybe you really reach those hands, trying to reach them all the way around the back. Bring some awareness to that chin. Keep that chin just nicely tucked. If you want a little more, you can start to kind of lift the elbows towards the face. start to feel a little bit of stretch through whatever shoulder is on top. And if you want more still, then try bringing those hands above the face, above the head, forearms kind of in line with each other and in line with the face. Maybe you can even reach some fingertips into one of the palms of the hand, coming into that full little bind, working with those eagle arm hands. But it's kind of neat doing it in a reclined position. How do those shoulders feel? Can you feel the backs of the shoulder blades? Can you still maybe squeeze those shoulders up, bringing them nice and narrow, and then relax those shoulders down, pressing more of the shoulders in. As you press those shoulders down in towards the floor, you might even notice you just create a little more resistance in the elbows. Maybe pressing in against each other. Maybe you feel that now a little bit more through whatever shoulder is on top or closer in. Let's take an inhale. Try to reach those arms up. It's just a subtle little movement. Reaching up, and exhale. Drawing those arms as low as they'll go. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, lower. Almost like a little seesaw motion. Like a little, I don't know, cutting a piece of wood almost. That's what I think of. You ever watch those guys on TV try to saw through a giant tree basically as fast as they can? I don't know why that came into mind here. Just thinking of the blade going back and forth as my arms reach it up. Then come on down. It's going to be challenging for a lot of people. It's very restrictive, especially in a reclined position where you don't have open space back behind you. So if you're feeling that restriction, that little bit of, maybe a little bit of claustrophobia, you can just release the hands. That'll open up that field of view and will release that tension. Let's just take a few more though, if you're able to. You can just be lifting and lowering the elbows, same effect, nice little stretch. This one is just a little bit deeper, a little more intense with those arms linking together. So good. Last one, reach it up nice and tall. Exhale, really draw it down. And then release those arms. Release them all the way wide like a T. Maybe you give those arms a little shake. Maybe just shake through the hands. Maybe you get into the elbows a little bit. Excellent. If you want a little different position for the feet, you can come into cobbler pose, walking the feet nice and close together and letting the knees draw open here. Maybe the soles of the feet kind of come to touch like a book. Knees draw towards the ground, or if you'd rather just keep your feet planted, that's a nice option as well. But I'm looking for a little variety here, so we'll get into those inner thighs a little bit. Let's get into that other shoulder. Let's start to reach those hands back up. Really reach them nice and tall. They might even come together or touch as you lift those shoulders off the ground. Exhale. Start to press the entirety of the shoulder, that side shoulder, right down back in. Just building that awareness, maybe feeling parts of the shoulders. Maybe as you press them down, you can really feel those shoulder blades. Maybe you can really feel that curve through the spine. You go on more, reach it up. Nice and narrow, and exhale. Draw those shoulders back down. Let's bring the hands towards opposite shoulder. Let's start with the other one first and tuck other shoulder or other elbow underneath. So if it feels the same, then switch it around. Just align the arms and different elbows on top. So option just to hang it here. You can still do that same lift and lower motion right here. Still gets into those areas, especially if you're already feeling some of that tension. But if you want a little more, let's start to bring forearms together. So connecting elbows towards elbow and then trying to bring forearms together, or maybe even tuck one hand into the palm, coming into those little eagle arms. See if you can relax. See if you can notice that little pull on that shoulder. This is great for working on that Gulf swing. It gets into all of those little muscles in there, involved in that, especially as you get that little resistance of the other arm. So it's like you're still trying to draw those shoulders down into that nice wide position, but you have that resistance, that little block of the other elbow. Let's inhale, reach it up. Start to feel that little stretch. You'll feel that stop when you feel you need to. Make sure you're listening to your body. Take that exhale. Draw those elbows down. Take a nice inhale, reach it out. Men usually have an easier time with the reaching down portion, but it's just starting to move that shoulder in a way that we probably don't really move it on a regular basis. So if it feels really crunchy, a little bit grimy in there, that could be your connective tissue, that could be dehydrated, that could be stiffness. There's a number of things that go on in there. And I am not a doctor and I do not see the body, so I'm not sure precisely what it is, but those are just some general opinions and options that it could be. Maybe you start to feel a little openness as we reach it up and draw it down, moving through. Always trying to find new and different poses for you guys. I feel like in yoga, really, you can make a list of poses, but I feel like the transition from one to the next can always be different. I feel like that's almost an infinite list, and I think how you do the poses specifically as well. Same shape, but adding that little bit of motion in can really change how you feel it. So I like the creativity behind it. All right, let's take, I think, 2 more. Reaching it up nice and tall. Exhale, draw it in. One more, nice big reach. Exhale, draw it in. And let's release those hands nice and slow. Reach those arms out. Nice and wide. If those knees are down, maybe you just come back into something more neutral. Knees up towards the ceiling, feet planted. Take a nice big reach out. Maybe wiggle through the fingers. Maybe you roll or shake the wrists. Maybe get into the elbows. Excellent. How is that? Take a nice good morning stretch. We're reaching those arms up overhead. How are those shoulders feeling now? Did you find some new muscles or ways to get into some muscles there? Nice inhale, reach it up. Nice and strong. Exhale. Bring the arms alongside the body, planting the hands nice and close in by the hips and giving that nice little squeeze to the body. Roll those shoulders back and down. Start to press those shoulder blades down. Start to press the elbows down. Maybe even press the hands down. Let's take an inhale breath, getting nice and tall. Take that exhale, engage the core, start to press it into the feet. Just a gentle little bridge pose. So not coming up super high here. If you want to, of course, go ahead, but you're welcome to just keep it a couple of inches, just enough so those feet have to engage a little bit. Legs are just gently working here. Let's bring that attention back to the arms and back to the shoulders today. I'm clearly feeling shoulders. Maybe I'm avoiding legs, but we'll see. So pressing in to those shoulder blades, pressing into the elbows, pressing into the palms of the hands. Can you keep that whole connection? Do you feel the little lift of the heart, lift of the collarbone as you keep pressing it in? Excellent. Lots of times in our yoga classes, we don't often play around with our arms in a bridge posture. And like bridge progresses to things like wheel, which you need to move your hands to a different spot for, and sometimes that feels really weird and really scary. So let's just start by bringing the hands up. Just reaching them up towards the ceiling. I still have my elbows pressing in, still pressing in towards the shoulder. Neck is still nice and protected, nicely tucked in. And really drive those elbows in towards the ground. See how you can almost find some more lift through the heart as you activate into the arms to help stabilize. So cool, so nice and strong. Excellent. Maybe you make little fists. Maybe you have your hands open. Maybe you try making a fist. Maybe try opening up through the hands. Really neat. Excellent. Still just pressing into the feet. Just hanging out here. Maybe feel those glutes activating. Maybe press those hips up a little bit more. Just stay where you're at. Maybe you play around now, reaching those arms out wide, like that T-like we come into for our twist positions, and you start to connect the arms this way, feeling into those shoulders a little bit different, just taking a little moment, feeling that pressing in, feeling where you're feeling it on the shoulders. Maybe even start to bring the hands more up overhead, taking that good morning stretch almost, or trying to connect the back of the hands down overhead. Maybe you can connect the entirety of the arm, but my elbows float up here. So I feel like, for me, that's neutral, nice and normal. Where are the shoulders pressing in? Is it more the tops, the sides? How different is it from when your arms are like a T? And then if you want to, you can bring your hands right in by the shoulders, have fingertips pressing towards the shoulders. This would be that position, elbows up in the air, of getting ready to press up into your wheel, which we will not do, but it's just fun to play around with the arms. Maybe just press a little extra into the hands to feel the shift between shoulders and hands and all of those muscles that would be involved there. All right, let's bring those hands back alongside the body, coming back to that nice neutral bridge. Take a nice inhale, and on that exhale, let's roll down nice and slow. Good hold on that bridge pose. Just a nice easy way to get in the legs while keeping things nice and reclined. So good there. Beautiful. If you need to, a little windshield wiper, if you've got any tension in those hips from that, or in that low back. Excellent. Let's find our stillness and pressing that right foot a little bit harder in towards the ground. We'll start to stabilize there. Let's bring the left foot coming up into the air. You can grab your hand and wrap it around the leg, or hold on to your legging, or grab a little strap. However you feel. You might need to hear, ooh, my husband is home. Hi, husband. You want to say hi to everyone? You're welcome to. A little half waterfall we're rocking here. Drawing the leg in. Maybe get into the hamstring a little bit. I've got my foot just naturally a little bit flexed. I'm not overly working through that ankle or through that flex in there. If you want to, you can really extend through that heel. It'll help straighten through the leg a little bit. And adding in my beloved pulse. So if you want to add a little movement here, go right ahead, starting to draw the body in. And just feeling that a little bit through the hamstring. They're always so tight, so here's a nice gentle way to work them. Nice. Taking a few more little wiggles, little pulses. Maybe you start to feel the foot can come a little bit more over the body. Maybe you start to just pulse it right in at that edge. Taking a nice inhale, remembering to connect in with the breath. Take a nice exhale. Beautiful. Let's bend through that knee. Release that foot back down and get ready to come into the other side. Maybe press a little more into that left foot. Stabilizing there. Right leg starts to come up. Maybe grab onto the leg. I've got a huge bend to my knee here that usually is a little bit easier for bringing the leg closer to wrap it around. Or maybe you want it to be nice and straight. You can just hold on to the legging or the pant or wherever you got there. My dog is very excited Neil's home. Can't quite get to him. Yes, he's home. He'll say hi to you when he's ready. Alright. Having that gentle pulse in. Maybe you just flex through the foot a little bit first, starting to lengthen through there. Start to add in that little extra. Beautiful. Feeling that nice little release through the hamstring, drawing that leg in. Hi. You're on camera, did you know that? You usually avoid it like the plague. I love you. I love you. I'm just sniffing my face. Beautiful. Just take a couple another breaths here, whether you're enjoying the stillness or the little pulse. There we go. She laid down right off screen. You're so funny. But she's smiley. Excellent. Let's bring a bend to that knee. Start to release it down. And let's roll up to seated. Maybe you want to roll onto your side. Press yourself up. Coming up. If Doreen got to take off, look at that. Perfectly. 8:30. Transition you out of here. So nice. Okay. Finding that nice little seated position. Take a nice inhale breath. Get nice and tall. Exhale. Roll those shoulders back and down. And take a nice inhale breath. Start to look up. Change the gaze up, lift up through the heart. And take that exhale, tuck through the chin, stretching maybe around and everything down. And come right back up. Inhale, look up, reach up, lift through that heart. Little back bend, little seated cat-cow. Exhale, round things down, tuck that chin in, really press those backs of the shoulders up towards the sky. We're just back. Inhale, back towards the neutral. Let's do that same motion now with lifting the arms. Take that nice inhale, reach it up. Exhale, hands to heart. Nice little inhale, sweeping it up. Exhale, down. One more, reaching it up. Oh, here comes some nice sunshine. Exhale, hands to heart, coming to that nice little prayer position, pressing into those hands, activating through those arms, a little squeeze through those shoulder blades. Take a nice inhale breath. Exhale, let it go. So good. Let's just start to tip on over towards your favorite side. Maybe you're going towards the left to match the camera. I love this little one where we connect elbow down with the leg. And the option to just hang out here. You can just reach for that knee to relax through that shoulder. You can relax through there as well. Or if you want a little more, that right arm can start to sweep up, starting to find some openness through that side body. And keep reaching, maybe gaze goes up to roll that top shoulder back, which feels really neutral, especially if you've got that elbow pressing into the leg. You can add in that nice little twist. Maybe you reach back a little further. Nice little inhale, nice stretch. Let's exhale, come on back up. Releasing those hands. Give your shoulders a couple little rolls. Come back towards neutral, hands at heart center. Take that little squeeze of those shoulder blades and let's exhale. Going down towards the right. Maybe just pressing elbow in. Option to hang out here. You can really press the hands in. I'm trying to keep them nicely at heart center, rolling that top shoulder open. Maybe you relax a hand down. Maybe you relax both down. Maybe you reach one up. Taking that nice sweep up overhead. Maybe gaze goes up. Maybe you start to reach back a little bit further. Finding that sweet spot, letting it feel good. So good. Let's come on back up towards center. Bring the hands in and take a nice bow forward, coming into just a seated forward fold. So maybe you just come a couple inches forward. Maybe you just press the hands in towards the feet, little tuck of the chin. Or maybe you come down a little bit lower, playing around with your forward fold, whatever that looks like. I was teaching a hot flow class yesterday, and I loved the variety I saw in the class, especially even just for a seated forward fold. There's people who just had the little tuck of the chin, little bow, and there's some people with their foreheads right on the ground. And I just love when people feel the freedom to express their yoga and have their practice be their own. Really, the only thing that matters is what's happening on your own mat. It doesn't matter what other stuff is going on. So if you want more, take more. If you want less, that's fine. Take less. Nice little stretch here. All right, let's start to come on back up. Sitting up nice and tall. Then let's switch the feet. Opposite foot in front or on top. Coming in. Beautiful. Let's sit nice and tall. Extend the crown of the head as high up as it'll get. Roll those ears away from the shoulders. Relax those shoulders down. Let's inhale. Sweep it up. Reach it up nice and tall. Exhale. Hands to heart. Draw the hands through that center line. Inhale. Reach it up. Exhale down. Inhale. Reach it up. Last one. Exhale. Hands towards heart center. Pressing in. Let's come into a nice little twist. Let's reach for opposite knee first. Hand extends out in front and starts to rotate all the way around and maybe presses in back behind you like a second spine. Take that inhale, really lift and lengthen through the spine. And then that exhale to maybe twist a little deeper. If you don't like your hand on your knee, hand can hang out on ankle as well, or even on opposite knee, however you'd like to press in and feel that little rotation. Go ahead and do so. Who's that? Go get him. center. So good. Let's get ready to come into the other side. So maybe start by reaching for that other knee. Other hand extends out in front and starts to sweep all the way around. She was so sad she couldn't get at you. Take a nice inhale and lengthen. Exhale. Sink a little deeper. Take an inhale. Nice and long. Feel free to adjust that hand back towards maybe the ankles or maybe even that other side. Feels pretty cool to press into that opposite knee. Really helps to ground it down. Just a nice little twist on the body. This is my husband. Thanks, I love you. You're the best. I love you too, puppy. Alright, let's exhale. Untwist it. Come back towards that nice center. Take an inhale, get nice and tall. Maybe hold on to both knees, getting a nice little back bend. And exhale, bow it right down. Coming into your forward fold on this side. I'm going to add a little sway into mine. This is my tight hip. I taught a Happy Hips class on Saturday. And I thought I was listening to my body, but then afterwards, we felt some new things to feel. So good. Sinking down. Back can be flat. Back can be rounded, whichever you'd prefer. As long as it feels good for you. Maybe you want to sneak a little sip of tea. Maybe you want to pet your little puppy dog. Yes. Oh, nice. Papa came for a little visit. Oh, what a suck. Okay, but I'm teaching yoga, so I love you, but scoot. All right, let's start to press on back up into that nice seated position, sitting nice and tall. Beautiful. Let's start to plant the feet in towards the ground. So maybe you just got the heels down. Maybe you're just holding on to the tops of the knees. I'm going to bring my hands alongside me and lean back a little bit here. So in a seated windshield wiper, you can keep knees and ankles together. Or you bring your feet and your knees a little bit wider apart. You can drop the legs. See how now you're almost coming into that deer legs. Really, you can do the same thing in reclined as well. So feeling that little roll through. You're getting some internal rotation of whatever leg is on top. So it might feel good there, a little bit through the hips. Just a nice way to get a little stretchy. Let it feel a little good. Just working on the hips just a bit here. Beautiful. Let's extend the legs nice and long. Come up to that nice seated position. As activate through the feet. You just switch back just a touch here. So toes are pointing upwards. Really flex the foot, extend long through the heel. Pressing nice and strong. So good. Let's point through the toes. Pointing the toes as far away from the body as you possibly can. Feeling that nice little stretch. Flexing through the feet. And then find neutral where the legs are still nice and active. You can have a bend to your knees if you'd like. You can relax the knees down. Wherever works best for you. Take a nice inhale. Get a little taller. How are those hip flexors feeling? This is where we're keeping those postural muscles through the back, through the front, and into those hip flexors and the back line of the legs. So good. It's just a nice seated staff pose, but I feel like we work pretty hard here. Excellent. And let's start to bring those feet back in. Bring the soles of the feet to touch. Let the knees fall open, coming into a seated cobbler pose. So maybe you got in on the cobbler pose in that nice reclined position, but hanging out here and seated, pressing the soles of the feet together. Maybe pressing actively those legs down. Working on finding some of that openness. So much excitement today. Well, welcome to my home. So glad you could do yoga in my living room with me. Or the front room. I don't know what this room is officially called. Beautiful. I love little cobbler pose. Gets into those inner thighs. Gets into those hips. You got nice external rotation. And if you want, you can start to get into the back as well, where you can intensify everything as you start to bow forward. So maybe you just bow forward a little bit. I feel like this is pretty good for me. Or you can really kind of round through the spine and drop that head down. Sometimes I like to do this with a nice flat back. I get a little more into that low back. Feels real nice, real good. Beautiful. Nice inhale breath. And exhale. Connecting in. Let's take another nice inhale. Nice full exhale. Beautiful. Let's start to come on back up towards center. Shoulders tapping over those hips. Bring those knees up, maybe with helping hands. Bringing them in. And let's roll on back and down, coming into our little reclining position. Help finish things off. So good. Rolling down, roll those shoulder blades back and down. Maybe you have your knees bent, feet planted. That's such a nice way to start in a nice reclining position. I'm going to just take a nice stretch here, reaching those arms up overhead. Feel like I need just somewhere lengthening through my arms and my side body here. And exhale. Coming into a nice little boss arm, so interlacing the hands behind the head, letting the elbows draw open, feeling that nice openness through the shoulders, maybe through the underarm. Kind of a weird place to work, but you've got lymph nodes there, and they often don't get a lot of attention, and so as we intentionally stretch and try to get into there, we can have little releases through there, nice and healthy. Great thing to do. So I'm going to just come back into that cross-legged position. I'm going to start by crossing right leg over left. Hanging out here, having that little squeeze just to get into that IT band. Just kind of actively trying to draw that right hip out towards the side. And then I have that little resistance between the knees. Maybe it feels good for you, maybe you feel nothing there. And that's a-okay. You can relax through the legs now, just keep them nice and crossed. Let's float left leg up and drop legs over towards the left. And coming into a nice little twist. Maybe that foot tucks under the knee. Maybe you just plant that foot all the way down. Your choice, whatever you want to work on. You can do the little eagle leg twist or not. Bring some attention to that right shoulder and then start to float up. Just see if you're able to maybe adjust or wiggle. Just try to have that right shoulder floating back down. If not, that's okay as long as the shoulder doesn't hurt. It's really just some rotation through the spine we're going for here, and a little bit of IT band work if you want it, if that's your choice, if you're feeling that. So I can always get a little more into my IT band as I'm twisting. Everything for me is rolling towards that left side, except for that little counter of the shoulder trying to roll back. And without rolling back, if I just create that little resistance of rolling my hip out towards the right, then I can start to get into some of those hip muscles, into the IT band. Starting to feel it a little more through there. You can accentuate that by, if you're still actively pressing that right hip back and you bring your hand just on top of the leg, they're not actively yanking down or anything, just kind of coming in, finding that nice extra bit of weight through there, can come a little deeper. And Doggy, you're so cute. This is Callie, if you haven't met her yet. She usually hangs out under the table, but the last couple of classes, she's been a little braver coming on screen. One more nice inhale and exhale. Let's start to release the hands. Maybe you reach it out and then start to press into those feet. Coming back up. Uncross the legs. Maybe just give them a little drop from side to side. And then come back towards that stillness. And come back to those box arms. Maybe hold for that awkward handshake away. Hands tuck in, elbows open. Left foot now comes across right leg, crossing in at the knees. Maybe actively trying to get those feet down towards the ground, or just those shins more in line. Take a nice inhale, lengthen through that spine, little tuck of the chin. Exhale, engage through that core, float those legs up, and this time drop it over towards the right. And coming into a nice twist. Trying to keep that left shoulder planted good. And however far the legs go, just find a nice twist that works here. And if you don't like this little cross-legged variation of one, by all means, feel free to adjust into a different twist that you do love. You do knee to knee, ankle to ankle. Beautiful. Feeling that nice connection. Connecting in with the breath. Maybe feel into that IT band. Maybe exhale, try to soften. Maybe you're actively trying to press that hip out a little bit more. Almost like you're trying to connect it down, but have this invisible force stopping it. Maybe you bring that right hand on top of the legs. Just adding that bit of weight difference. I feel like I just need to release a little bit more on the side, so I'm going to reach my left hand out nice and long. So good. One more nice inhale. Nice exhale. Let's start to release. Coming back up to the center. I'm crossing those legs. And let's hug the knees in towards the chest. Maybe take that little rock from side to side. Releasing that low back. Maybe releasing a bit into the shoulders. So good, so nice. Bring that nice little tuck of the chin. And if you want a little more, you can reach on through the knees for the feet, the ankles, the big toe, the back of the knees. The feet go up towards the ceiling, knees draw in towards the body. Nice little happy baby. Great way to reset the spine. Great way to get a little extra hip opener in there. So maybe you actively pull the feet down, kick into the hands, and extend that head as tall as possible. Feel all of that spine lengthening, and then relax. Feel free to take a little freestyle movement. If there's another pose or movement you'd love to take before settling into a little bit of a shavasana, go ahead and play around. Maybe you want that full waterfall of both feet up towards the ceiling. Maybe you want a little cobbler pose. Who knows? Maybe you just want more shavasana. That's a great option as well. So good. I am in the shavasana boat today. Not really craving any extra movement. I'm feeling like that was pretty good. We'll just take another stretch. Find that stillness. Beautiful. Take a nice inhale. Take a nice exhale. And starting to settle into your shavasana. If you're still playing around, roll those shoulders back and down. Let the feet fall open. Let's take 3 big inhales. That exhale, nice and loud. So nice big inhale breath, breathing in. Not just filling the lungs, but fill into that diaphragm area as well. Huge inhale. And exhale. Start to let it out. Take a nice inhale breath. Start to breathe it in. Really nice and big. Filling the lungs. Filling that diaphragm and release. Take that big exhale. Really draw out all that air. Last one. Big inhale breath. Getting a little bit taller. Feeling everything expand. Rib cage, lungs, diaphragm. So big, so good. And exhale, release. So good. And take all the time that you need in this shavasana, embracing a bit of stillness, a little bit of peace. Maybe you remember that intention you set at the beginning of class. I will roll up to seated and leave you here to take all the time you need in your shavasana. I Thank you so much for joining me and letting me guide you on a little yin yang yoga, a little more yangy today, but a nice stretch for sure. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day filled with moments of joy, and I pray that you are always blessed. Thank you and namaste. Beautiful.